for me, the biggest lesson in her lifetime of interactions with authorities, whether it was priors or church leaders, is that she valued the primacy of being in relationship as a Christian sister to these brothers. So it begins with the earliest brothers. She's the first woman. But the rapport, and of course, you can tell from the legislation of the times, and it's not something we should sniff at. It was probably pretty prudent that there's a lot of effort to make sure that if you've got a group of women attached to an order or a movement led by men, you've got to have some boundary lines clearly marked out. And so she begins in this awkward position of there aren't other women. They don't have a monastery and a convent waiting. So she is immediately taken to live with Benedictines. She doesn't stay there very long. She then goes on to stay with a group of penitent women living up on a hillside outside of Assisi. There again, they're not being led by the friars or tutored by the friars, but she's learning what are the structures. She takes from the Benedictines a lot of wisdom. You know, the chapter where every sister, whether she's just come in a day ago or she's been there for 80 years, speaks, where work is assigned, so everybody knows, oh, you've got the kitchen, I get the latrines, but we'll switch next week, that sort of thing. So I think that she learned from these different experiences how to negotiate what to accept and what not to accept. And I think that she also, because of that primacy of relationship, she tries to conduct her disagreements in a way that they don't end in bitterness. It's not win-lose. It's, can we keep finding a way? I think that's an underlying theme, because we don't see the church authorities invoking negative sanctions against her, as you would against someone who is simply being, resistant and disobedient and disruptive. No, she's valued. So they want her to do well. And I think the fact that she always manages to get that eye of the needle threaded is a sign that they do respect and have a certain affection, even if at times it's grudging.
Yeah. Yeah, I like what you said there, the primacy of relationship. Almost as her, would you say that was her almost mode of being as a leader?
Yeah, and I think as a leader, it's not always easy. I mean, in your life as a leader, you're going to make many, many hard calls. One of the things that I think a good leader, and especially a good Franciscan leader, does is think as deeply as possible about how do I make that call and still have a relationship. And let's say the call is, I'm telling the person your job is over. Thank you for your service, but this is not working out. Can I do that in such a way that I can bump into that person in the grocery store a month from now and we say, hello, glad to see you. How are you doing? Doesn't always work out because the other person has to have some of that reciprocity. I also think sometimes you have to be willing to switch channels as a leader of when am I sitting in my leader chair with this person and when am I entering into the community. So example would be college president. The faculty senate has just voted down something I think is really important. I'm mad as hops. The senate president comes in, I say, come on, that, well, yes, sister, but we couldn't get the most, on and on. So we argue and I say, I'm not done. I'm bringing it back. 30 minutes later, where am I? The reception for retiring faculty. So now I walk in and hey, how, congratulations. This is a lovely party. Congratulations to the retirees. So you learn, I could stay away and show how mad I am. But if I show up, and this is not about our work on the legislation I proposed. This is about honoring our colleagues. What a great thing to be doing today. But that's not easy, and you don't always have the spiritual or psychic energy to do it.
Yeah, it takes a lot of humility, right? To
Yeah,
be able
yeah.
to, like some would describe it as compartmentalization, but I think
Yes.
it's way spiritually deeper
Oh,
than that in the
gosh.
sense that like you're letting go. You have the humility to let go of your own agenda, this thing that didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and
Absolutely.
you dare to give of yourself to this primacy of relationship
That's
again.
right.
Like let's lift others up. That's what today is about
Yes.
lifting others up.
And Stephen, it's in a time when people are very cynical about this sort of thing. Somebody said, "What a phony! My God, she was just in there lambasting him." But it's like that's the risk you run. And I think if you are consistently trying to manage the leadership functions, which differ every hour. One moment you're called upon to be a decision maker, the next you're standing in a funeral home, the next you're in a meeting with, all the presidents of your county. You have to keep moving with different speeds and with different sets of rules. So having some of that inner flexibility is a big gift, and you can learn it from others as well. And it's sadly the thing that is lacking in American politics today.